Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John's report. Is for the 9th. Well, it was an exciting day. We had discussions of the UK and US making their trade deal, a new pope. So it was exciting here in Italy. And I can tell you that my Italian friends are not happy that it's an American, though they were impressed with his Italian. So yeah, it was half and half. But it's quite funny, Uh, because they're like, "What is America going to take over everything?" And it's like, well, from a business standpoint, you can see the Chinese at the table not wanting to. They've just suspended all of their data. Now, why would they do that? Why would they not want to report any of their economic situation that's going on? Because maybe the narrative for them isn't as rosy as everyone said it was going to be, in this whole idea that the U.S. was crazy in instigating this tariff situation. But we can see the effect. Nasdaq continuing to move, and of course, this is all counter. I mean, not Nasdaq, I'm sorry, this is the ES, but moving counter to the expectation, which was lower, and that's always the pain trade going against the grain. Faded off a little bit, profit taking within that, and of course, there's still a lot of questions as to where growth is going to be, where inflation is going to end up. It's in the right trajectory. Will more trade deals get done in time? These become the question. We have debt ceiling issues coming up. So there's a lot still on the plate. But overall, can't complain about that. I mean, look at that MBI weight. There's nothing. There's no short interest there, whatever. It's just a question of how far can bulls push things forward, and what's the availability. And you notice there it is, 1.78 on the shakeout. So positive along moving with that uh, shakeout gold right there rising, and that's what you look for in that kind of strength, and it just follows. That's why it's always difficult when you see that gold rising to try and short into that, unless you're well below that 23%. um, Tends to be unpleasant, at least if you're short, but it's definitely a telltale sign for the upside of it. Of course, Treasury is remaining in this confused because the Fed is just so far out of the game right now. It's interesting how different that was last 4 years. Everything was the Fed. Now it's like the Fed's just sitting on the sidelines, and to a detriment, because if you did have a reduction in rates, you'd have a much stronger, more robust recovery instantaneously. But clearly, there's animosity there, and it's also reflected in the courts purposely trying to slow up uh, expulsion of illegal immigrants, things like that. Anything to slow the process of Trump changing things, and even the scale back of Doge, telling them no, you have to spend money that makes no sense, because we really don't need to promote uh, transgender alpacas in Peru. Strange stuff, but they get away with it. Oil kicking back up. Modestly, it's within what we expect from the charts. It's going to have some difficulty. It's still in a pretty deep push here with the shakeout and that, but everything's crossed over for that. So I would look for a spider effect there that would keep things under control. But as it is now, it looks like it's headed towards that 50% unless we get a fade off there. Not great, but anything they can do to keep oil under control is only going to make things less difficult. Let's just put it that way. And this kind of dashed a lot of the hopes in the European Union setup. Still way elevated relative to what it should be, but they got to be happy with where it's holding. But the UK bifurcating from them, that's a problem for them, because it sets the UK to take advantage of much more favorable trade practices, and that's not what the EU needs. From a gold standpoint, still everyone's got this inflation dream. We'll keep watching for it. I haven't seen it. And again, big excitement for Bitcoin in them. Both cryptos actually responding quite well to this idea that there's going to be resolution on that and movement in the crypto space as far as tokenization and all the other dream scenarios. And so you can see where we started with that strong. And see, this is what I've talked about, though, on the DOC. When you see these kind of strong reactions, these are relative balancings of each other. So from a short interest to midterm buyers to long term, when they cross over, those are your signal points where everything is shifted and you've got a momentum that's built into that story. When you get weak ones, we tend to get very soft indications from it, and you don't get quite the same excitement value out of it. From that wonderful 50K chart, you can see where shorts got caught right here, pumping into it right at the 50%, but they did so without a magenta breakdown underneath. They needed that move of the magenta to go to 25. That would have been the clean signal to go to the south side. Instead, they got the move up, and when they did get the final sell signal, all it did was take you to the 50% because no increase in short activity to justify the move elsewise. And once it popped back above, boom, you take off again. And then we get the continues to step back and forth, your ABC kind of setup, but you can see it clearly within there. We get the DOC spread, which was suggesting that, in cooperation with that breakout of magenta underneath the yellow, we would have even more weakness. And then you can see that separation where it gets really strong between the green and cyan, and then the fade off of MBI red, and boom, yeah, nice. So, all clean. Kind of like that. Intraday, from the situation, of course, you started out the early market there where puts thought they were in control of things and it flipped upside down on them so fast. And then call buyers thought they had it made and they wiped them out too. So, yeah. That's the beauty of it. That makes them hurt both directions. And if you don't have the indicators that can see that, and clearly it was very evident in our chart, yeah, you get whipsawed and hammered pretty hard from that standpoint. So, all in all, great stuff. Indicators continue to be right on top of it. Made a few adjustments to the algorithms to account for that appeared in the most recent indicator download, and it seems to be working beautifully. So very happy about that. As always, though, anything relevant, I'll put it on our team chat, and you can find that on MBI Traders for Microsoft Teams if you want to join in there. And always you can check Trade the MBI now on YouTube for our videos. So have a good one. Trade well.